Hello explorers, and welcome to my tutorial on how to get the most out of your backpack. What I've done for this video is that I've equipped absolutely nothing. So what I will do is I will equip just the basic stuff, if I can find it here, and the basic backpack. Here's something to consider. The basic backpack, if I hold down B, has a carry capacity of 650. It weighs 75. The weight of the backpack is inconsequential. But what is important is that this capacity of 650 will go up once I put stuff in. If I take this and put it in, the capacity is taken up with 60 out of 650. The same will be true if I clip that onto the side. The capacity is still 60 out of 650. But with a weapon holster, something to consider. The weapon holster weighs 60. If I pick up a G36, for example, this weighs 316. But if I put it in the holster, it still weighs only 60 out of 650. So you are gaining so much carry capacity, whereas if I keep it in here, it's like over half the bag. So the holster, although it has an initial carry weight addition, anything you put in the holster is free of charge in terms of carry capacity. Really, really handy. And in order to make sure that you can carry as much back to base as possible, what I would recommend is putting on 2 holsters to your back, to the back of your backpack, because yes, I'm already up, nearly 1/6 of my backpack capacity, but I can carry 2 guns and it still will only weigh that 110. This will apply to everything else. This is a pistol holster or sidearm holster. You could do that there. I never really have more than one sidearm holster, so I will attach that to my rig instead, which you will always have by default anyway. But your rig has a carry capacity just like your bag does. The chest rig has a carry capacity of 300. The pistol holster weighs 30 but has a capacity of 200. Now obviously you're very limited about what you can put in a sidearm holster. It can only be a sidearm, but I guarantee you whatever we have will weigh more than 30, and let's test that out. If I take an M9, a magazine, bear in mind the magazine will be loaded, so it will weigh a little bit more. If I add the rails and add the sight and add a suppressor, before you know it, this thing weighs 70, but this weighs only 30 still. So I've made 40 weight by having a holster instead of just putting a pistol in my bag. You would have a holster anyway. That bit you can kind of ignore. Magazine pouch, they weigh 10, but the magazines, that weighs only 5. With ammo, it may weigh a bit more, but you kind of need ammo holsters. Not much you can do about that. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. Now the large ammo box pouch weighs 60, which is quite a lot, but if I stack one underneath my bag, there we go, like that. So I can have one of these on the bottom of my bag, and if I have a look at the weight of a big box of ammo, this weighs a whopping 130. So if I put it in there, that 130 is only weighing 60 for me. My carry capacity is now 170 out of 650. But if you think about what you're going to pick up in terms of loot, I might find a couple of guns and I might decide I want to bring them back to base. That still hasn't affected my weight because it was the initial weight of the holster that's taken into account and the initial weight of the pouch that's taken into account. The last thing I want to show you is this little gizmo here, the item slot. Now you can place on the initial backpack, I think 8 along here. 1 per each side of the strap on the upper and 1 per each side of the strap on the lower. What I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to fill as many slots as I can with item slots. Each item slot weighs 8, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's going to add an additional 64 weight capacity on, which you might think, well, that's quite a lot of weight considering all I've done is add these little Velcro clips. But the same rule applies. Anything that I attach to each Velcro clip will still only weigh the weight of the Velcro clip itself. It doesn't actually add any more. So if I take, for example, a box of ammo, this weighs 68. But, oh no, hold on. One thing to bear in mind, the item clip can only carry 60. One good example, that's 68 is still, it won't be able to carry everything, but yeah, okay. AKM rounds, I think it's for the AKM. Or AK-74, one of the two. This weighs 53, but if I clip it to that, it still only weighs 8. If we do some maths, I will put it up on screen. I'm not going to work it out now in my head, But instead of 64 capacity, I'm now carrying 8 lots of 58, and it still only weighs 64. So if you were going to be really, really good about this, at least 2 gun holsters, but I would probably stick with 2. I don't know if I'd carry more than that. I would also carry definitely an ammo box here, maybe another one, depending if you want one for your heavy ammo, one for your light ammo. And item slots, as many as you can fit onto your bag. And to make it even more interesting, you can also fit some to your rig. So here, if I take everything out, and item slots on the outside as well. This is amazing. Let's get rid of the guns. Okay, get rid of the ammo. Just pouches, you can see I've already taken up over half my bag space. So item slots on the outside, along this side, 2 big ammo boxes on the bottom. If you really want, you can have this, which is for headgear. And it says a few other items. I don't know what the other items are, but that will be for clipping on something to your bag like that. Now, I could put it up to the back there. Now, again, the weight of the clip is 10. The weight of a mask is 70. But this only weighs 10 because of the way the system works now. So here's where it gets really interesting. This has a carry capacity now of 386 out of 650. I've used up over half the capacity of the bag, but what I've turned my bag into is something that will no longer add weight as long as I'm clipping stuff onto this. So, wait, that's brought up to 394. So, yes, it seems like a waste, but let's whack on 2 guns. Let's whack on a headgear. Let's whack on some ammo boxes. These as well. Now, just for a bit of overkill, let's use the slots on the side of the bag. Let's use the slots on the back here. And lastly, along the top. So once I've actually filled up all of these slots, well, what do you know? My weight is still 394. And the beautiful part is the main section of the bag is completely empty for you to put extra stuff in. Yes, you might say this bag looks like a total mess on the outside, but you cannot argue with how practical that is. Make sure you are looting the best way possible. Guys, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you next time.